The Kremlin accuses NATO of expanding and encroaching on Russia's security, while Russia itself has been militarizing near the borders with European states for decades, providing itself with a military contingent inside other countries. This is stated in the investigation of the Voice of America project Polygraph.
Since 2016, Russia has significantly militarized Kaliningrad, transferring troops and weapons and forming the 11th Army Corps. Kaliningrad's high degree of militarization makes it possible for the Kremlin, if Kaliningrad is the target of a Western-sanctioned blockade, to seize part of Poland's Suwałki corridor, a strip of land less than 80 kilometers long that separates Belarus from Kaliningrad. From the investigation of Polygraph Info.
Moscow has deployed the operational group of Russian forces in the Russian-occupied Transnistria region of Moldova. According to the authorities of Ukraine, there are about 3,500 Russian military personnel there. In addition, Russia has deployed a military base in Serbia under the guise of a humanitarian center, investigators say.
In 2011, Moscow opened a Russian-Serbian humanitarian center in the southern Serbian city of Niš, which a 2020 Institute of New Europe report identified as a Russian military base. Russian troops, including engineering troops, helicopters and fighters, are stationed there. The center operates within humanitarian and ecological issues. However, it plays a double role and is also used by the Russian security services. From the investigation of Polygraph Info.
Over the past 23 years, the Russian Federation has increased funding for the army by 300%. Such figures are provided by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Putin's plans for military expansion, which is not limited to Ukraine, have become obvious to Europe. Russia's actions forced the West to reconsider its approach to its own defense and begin to strengthen its armies. Now, meetings of the British Committee of Imperial Defense begin with discussions of a potential Russian attack.
Are our armed forces now ready to fight a major war with Russia if we had to fight tonight?
Yes.
Great Britain has a plan for the most radical transformation of the army in the last 20 years. It provides for tens of billions of pounds of investment in the coming years. Almost all EU countries follow a similar path, but the biggest militarization is now taking place in Poland. Back in the autumn of last year, the country's Minister of Defense stated that there was a serious risk of war with the Russian Federation, which Warsaw would face in a period of 3 to 10 years.
The war in Ukraine means we have to arm even faster. That is why this year we will make an unprecedented effort. 4% of GDP will go to the Polish armed forces, which may be the largest percentage among all NATO countries. Mateusz Morawiecki, Prime Minister of Poland, in a comment to Deutsche Welle.
Allied countries are also confident that the assistance and long-term security guarantees for Ukraine agreed by Western allies at the NATO summit in Vilnius will strengthen Ukraine's ability to defend itself and deter Russian aggression for years to come.
It may be the best way to disabuse Vladimir Putin of the idea that he can somehow outlast Ukraine and outlast the dozens of countries that are supporting Ukraine in defense of its freedom and its future. And that's the quickest way, probably, to bring this war to an end.
The Kremlin's attempts to divide the West have had the opposite effect. Putin's war against Ukraine convinced even relatively neutral countries, such as Sweden and Finland, which have refused to join NATO for years, to reconsider their policies and apply to join the alliance, thus actually doubling Russia's borders with NATO. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Angelika Brushnevska, UATV News.